Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janapalabha Jirivanadari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kavihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kavihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ibo. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Thank you guys. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right. So together, all together now. Narayana Namaskrita Naram Sheva Darotanam Devyam Swadhiskripasam Tato Jayam Kirit Nasta Preya Bhastrestu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhakti Naistiki. Before reading it all together. Before reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very neat to conference, one should offer respectful obeisance for person of God right unto Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vasudeva, the author. By regular attendance in class on the Bhagavatam, and by rendered service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome and almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the person of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental songs established as irrevocable fact. So, gonna say personal prayer really quick that I say before I read, and say it in a we form. It's for all of us, and I always go like this: head to heart with the book. Lord, you're your word, you're your image, you're your name, you're your people. You're inside our hearts as well as outside of our hearts. You are here and you are there. Wherever we go, you are there. We pray that you remove all the obstacles that stand in our way of us hearing and understanding what it is you have to say. Please help us to love you and serve you better and show us the way. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Masaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nimshesha Srinivani Pashta Distatarine Vanchakalpa Tribhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyeva Cha Panitana Pavani Vyoy Vaishnavi Voy Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. So, yeah, let's get into it. First disclaimer: I'm not a Bhagavatam scholar. I want to be monk brahmachari, and I'm it's just by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, down to Srila Prabhupada, down to Kalakanta Das Prabhu, down to Shruti Prabhu, that I'm even asked to sit and speak in front of you guys. And I hope that at least, with through all my mistakes and ignorance, at least the Lord can be glorified. Okay. So yeah, we're covering chapter 3. Canto 3, chapter 18, 13 through 28, and then we're going to focus on this double text 22, 23. So let's get it started. You guys know what to do.
Sri Maitreya said, the demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra.
Hissing indignantly, all his senses shaken by wrath, the demon quickly sprang upon the Lord and dealt him a blow with his powerful mace.
The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged the violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death.
The personality of Godhead now exhibited his anger, and rushed to meet the demon, who bit his lip in rage, took up his mace again, and began to repeatedly brandish it about.
Then, with his mace, the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. But since the demon was expert in fighting, O gentle Vidura, he protected himself by a maneuver of his own mace.
This way, the demon Hiranyaksha and the Lord, the personality of Godhead, struck each other with their huge maces, each enraged and seeking his own victory.
There was keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blows of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of blood on his person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and contest their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow.
Going at it.
O descendant of Kuru, Brahma, the most independent demigod of the universe, accompanied by his followers, came to see the terrible fight for the sake of the world between the demon and the personality of Godhead, who appeared in the form of a boar.
After arriving at the place of combat, Brahma, the leader of thousands of sages and transcendentalists, saw the demon, who had attained such unprecedented power that no one could fight with him. Brahma then addressed Narayana, who was assuming the form of a boar for the first time.
Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, this demon has proved to be a constant pinprick to the demigods, the brahmanas, the cows, the innocent people who are spotless and always dependent on worshipping your lotus feet. He has become a source of fear by unnecessarily harassing them. Since he has attained a boon from me, he has become a demon, always searching for a proper combat, wandering all over the universe for this infamous purpose."
Lord Brahma continued, "My dear Lord, there is no need to play with this serpent, who is always very skilled in conjuring tricks and is arrogant, self-sufficient, and most wicked."
Brahma continued, "My dear Lord, you are infallible. Please kill this sinful demon before the demoniac hour arrives and he presents another formidable approach favorable to him. You can kill him by your internal potency without doubt."
Thanks for letting me know, Lord Brahma.
My lord, the darkest evening which covers the world is fast approaching. Since you are the soul of all the souls, kindly kill him and win victory for the demigods.
Auspicious period known as Abhijit, which is most opportune for victory, commenced at midday and has all but passed. Therefore, in the interest of your friends, please dispose of this formidable foe quickly.
This demon, luckily for us, has come of his own accord to you, his death ordained by you. Therefore, exhibiting your ways, kill him in the duel and establish the world's peace.
Man. All right. So, how excited, man. We're at the battle. Like, doesn't get any more exciting than the big fight. So let's talk about what led up to this really quick and recap. First of all, is everybody following this story pretty clearly? I just want to make sure. Is there anybody that's like a little bit lost at where we're at? Kartikeya, you got called out. Okay, so let's recap. Why are they fighting? And everybody, bring it on.
The Lord wanted to fight.
Okay, the Lord wanted to fight.
They made an offense, so they had to kill Scripture.
Who had to leave the spiritual world?
Giant and
Okay. All right. So, why did Giant Vijay take birth as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha in the first place? Let's go way back. I want to take it way back. Why are Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha demons?
Oh, because Titi had babies at a bad time,
Exactly.
and so she was
Inauspicious
cursed.
conception.
Poor lady.
So this is even arranged even before they made the offense. It's like all these like subplots going on to just mix, just a big mixture to come together for the big fight. And yeah, we've been talking this week about like demonic mentality and service to the Lord. We're gonna get that's pretty much what this class is gonna be more in getting more in depth on is service to the Lord. So yeah, Giant Vijay, they were the best of devotees in Vaikuntha, and then so once they like had this offense, the four Kumaras that came up. Do you remember this? The four Kumaras,
Yes.
Brandon? The little kids, 5-year-olds, and then they came up to the gate, and Giant Vijay, they said, "Hey, you can't come in," and they were like, you can't judge us. There's no judgment in the spiritual world. There's no judgment in heaven, right? You guys are supposed to be more elevated than that. Go back down to earth, man. You're not even qualified to be up here. And then said, okay, man, we probably need the Lord on this one. So Vishnu came and made an appearance. They glorified it. He showed up like on his own planet, came with Lakshmi, came with this entourage. Like anytime the Lord shows up, it's epic, even at his own house. And he gave judgment. He said, okay, listen, I'm going to judge you guys fairly, but I'm going to let this pass. I'm going to allow this pass. He gave his judgment. Giant Vijay, I'm going to give you guys this option. You're going to descend back down to the earthly realm. You can take on 6 lifetimes as devotee. 3 is my enemy. And they decided, okay, Lord, we want to come back to you as soon as possible. That was what their decision was based on. We want to get back here into the abode, into our position of direct service to you ASAP. So they took the 3. They took the hit. But those 3 lives, they're going to be sworn enemies of Vishnu. And he's going to kill them every single time, violently. And but there's even a bigger picture to that than just he wants to fight them, right? Like we've been talking about that all week. Oh, that's why all this got conjured up all the way back to Ditti's, inauspicious conception. There's more to it than just Vishnu wants to fight, right? Okay, so we're gonna get into that too. So anything else? Is there anything I'm missing as far as you guys want to add what's going on in the story?
Yeah, I just have a question. I
Yes.
don't know if this is farther into the story, but is this when Bharatavarsa is already in the water and Lord Thor picks him up? Or is this earlier? This is before that?
That happened yet? That the earth got picked up? So
It already happened?
he hasn't pulled the earth
So
out
it's
of the
already-
causal ocean. That's
Okay.
probably gonna happen. He's still down in the water.
Did he just put it down?
He put it down in the. Go ahead, Nitai. Can you?
But Raha gave it out its clothes.
Okay,
Okay.
so close. So also what happened is okay, there's what's a little bit. Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they were born, okay, and when they were born on Earth, it was like at this most inauspicious time, and basically the entire universe and the entire world went into this state of like shock and fear, and like all these terrible storms started happening, and like all this like acid and pus rain started raining down, and all the cows started pooping on themselves because they were so scared. And they were born best of the demons. They were born, so this is kind of important, that they were already born very, very strong. They were born like giants. Okay, they're different than like big strong guys today. They were huge, muscular. They were already empowered before we start getting into these boon things. They're already bad dudes. So Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha are like this, okay? And they're militant atheists, they're irreligious, they're God haters, they're just haters. And Hiranyaksha is like sworn to be Hiranyakashipu's right-hand man. And he's kind of like the Adolf Hitler of the two, because he went off to, or he'd be like Adolf Hitler's right-hand man, where he'd go around and he was taking out all the ashrams, like any Krishna houses, gone. Any Bhagavad Gitas thrown in the fire. So he's just eradicating any traces of anything that has to do with Vishnu and all other religious practices. He wanted it all gone because they wanted all of the focus to be on them. They wanted to be worshipped. They wanted to basically be greater than God. That's kind of what this all comes down to. And so then we'll get into Hiranyakashipu. So, but Hiranyakashipu, he's telling Hiranyaksha, like, I want you to go seek out all these demigods and fight them. I want you to go challenge everybody too. So he went down, and what just happened to where we're going to be at now, he had swam down to Vibhari to challenge Varuna, the lord of the aquatic creatures and lower planetary system. So kind of like the Aquaman demigod. If you can imagine that, he probably had a trident and a bunch of seahorse guys riding on seahorses around him. So he, for like, what was it, like 100 years or something, he's like swimming through the ocean to go down and find this abode. And yeah, Hari, he told him, I'm too old. Number one, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to give you the fight you're looking for. The only one that can give you the fight you're looking for is Vishnu. And when you fight him, your butt is going to be face down in a field full of dogs. That's what he told him. Yeah. How do you bowl? So this is what's happening right now. They faced each other. That was pretty much like the class yesterday. And they kind of were like, saying their piece that like, oh, don't underestimate me. You don't know how powerful I am. And Vishnu's like, you're ignorant. You run into a brick wall. You're ignorant. This is not this is not the fight that you think it is. Okay. So here they are. They're in battle. This is the exciting part. Sounds like even Vishnu got hurt a little bit, kind of showing a little, playing with them, showing them a little bit of weakness here. Okay, so any thoughts on that? That's where we're at right now. They're fighting. Good? Okay. So let's read. That's right. We need to read the text. We need to read the Sanskrit, and then we'll read the translation and the purport. And I was hoping to get some help on the Sanskrit because it's a daily double. Maybe we could have a couple Matajis, couple Prabhujis, give it a shot.
Ishate deva devana. Oh wait, Brahmo vacha.
Brahmo vacha.
Ishate deva devanam.
Ishtate deva devana.
Angvimulam upeyusham.
Arimulam upesham.
Vipranam sarabeyinam.
Vibram
Putanam apyanagasam. Agaskrid baya krid dushkrid. Asmad radha varosuraha. Anvishan apratir ato. Lokan adati kantaka.
Brahmo vacha. Ishtate deva devana. Arimulam upesham. Vibram Putanam apesham. Brahmo vacha. Anybody else? You guys want to get into this thing, man? All right. All right. This is good. Read it for the translation. Oh, okay. Word for word. Should we do, let's skip the word for word. This, right? That's super long. Okay, translation. Lord, this demon has proved to be a constant pinprick in the demigods, the brahmanas, the cows, and innocent persons who are spotless and always independent upon worshiping your lotus feet. He has become a source of fear by unnecessarily harassing me. Since he has taken a boon from me, he has become a demon, always searching for a proper combatant, wandering all over the universe for this infamous purpose. All right. Purport by His divine grace.
There are two classes of living entities. One is called Sura, or the demigods, and the other is called Asura, or the demons. Demons are generally fond of worshipping the demigods, and there are evidences that by such worship they get extensive power for the sense gratification. This later proves to be a cause of trouble to the brahmanas, demigods, and other innocent living entities. Demons habitually find fault with the demigods, brahmanas, and innocent, to whom they are a constant source of fear. The way of the demons is to the way of the demon is to take power from the demigods and then tease the demigods themselves. There is an instance of a great devotee of Lord Shiva who obtained a boon from Lord Shiva that the head of whomever he touched with his hand would come off its trunk. As soon as the boon was offered to him, the demon wanted to touch the very head of Lord Shiva. That is the way. The devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not, however, ask any favor for sense gratification. Even if they are offered liberation, they refuse it. They're happily simply engaging in the transcendental loving service of the Lord.
Oh boy, man. There's so much to unpack, so much going on. So I'm gonna pretty much focus on the purport. Seems like the theme this week has been demoniac personality, mentality, how to avoid it, what it is, what it looks like, is it in us, and how to properly transcend it, avoid it, suppress it, let it out, however, right? So let's go back though to simplify this thing. What is a demon? Brandon? Mike? Okay, so what constitutes being evil?
Going against what is right and what Krishna wants for us.
That's absolutely right. One of them. Anybody that goes against the authority of Vishnu in these pastimes, mostly those are demons. What else?
Or a being who has just selfish desires.
Selfish desires, rebellious nature against the Lord. What else? Anthony?
Like you said earlier, they're haters,
Haters.
God haters.
God haters. Anybody else but them haters. So what is a hater? That's what I'm really that's what I'm looking at here. This is a question of the day, because this is a way that we can apply it in our daily life to be able to recognize. They're envious of God, envious of God, envious of everybody else too. Envious of anybody who is not serving their selfish purpose. And they will also campaign, politic, blackball, gossip against those people, whatever strings they feel like they can pull with whatever's within their control to be able to try to manipulate and change the narrative on somebody that they don't want to see have anything good happen to them. And that's ultimately what these demons end up doing. And it seems like the first targets that they end up going towards are the demigods. Okay, they seem a little bit they seem a little bit able to be kind of played sometimes. You know what I mean? So okay, go ahead, Steve. Blackball, it's the same thing as it's like downing somebody's reputation. Yeah. Killing somebody's reputation. That's political strategy. Like this politician, if you see he has a poor history in drugs, and then they just smear it, and that way they get the upper hand in the popularity. So, okay, so envious people are rebellious against God, and yeah, people that just have selfish motives and want for themselves. So those people are out there. Sometimes we can find that nature within ourselves. And yeah, so how do we deal with that? That's kind of what we're going to get into with some of these pastimes and these stories. In these stories, it seems like a lot of times Vishnu has to like come out and handle it. Demigods, they're empowering these evil people. And then when they have these boons or mystic abilities or greater abilities or some kind of like mystic cities to be able to gain more power ultimately, they'll turn it around and use it on the Lord, and then or they'll use it on the Lord's people, right? And then he'll have to come and kind of just like straighten it out. And that's what he's doing right here. He's handling Hira and Raksha. So yeah, that's also what I feel like envious people will do. They take and they don't give back. So okay, what is now I have a got a trivia question, and I'm gonna give out a bookmark for anybody that can answer it. Who is the demon that they're referring to in the purport that Vishnu empowered with the mystic city to be able to blow people's heads off? That Shiva empowered. Okay, well you're closest to it. Here you go. Here's a wonderful picture of Ra. There you go. No, that's just one of nice pictures of him that I found that I liked. So it was bookmarked in The God Who Dances. It's a book Kalakanta Das Prabhu wrote. It's basically like an overview and all of the Srimad Bhagavatam in poetry form, specifically like the 10th canto is the majority of the book. And this is one of my favorite devotional books ever. And yeah, I told Kalakanta I was going to be doing this class, and we went over the purport, and he actually wrote a poem on this pastime when Shiva gives this demon Vark this boon to be able to blow people's heads off, and then what happens after that. So would you guys like to hear it? Okay. Vrikasura. All right. Why are Krishna's devotees so poor? Lord Shiva Shiva's devotees in general seem to own much more. Since Krishna is much wealthier than Shiva, I suspect, this fact seems just the opposite of what one would expect. Lord Shiva interacts with matter. This is his domain. Appearing, Shiva makes objectives easy to obtain. Lord Krishna, on the other hand, transcends the mundane realm. His devotees, like him, are pure and never overwhelmed. Your grandfather, King Yudhishthir, once said this paradox directly to Lord Krishna, who responded with these thoughts. When someone truly pleases me, I pilfer all his wealth. His relatives and friends then leave this beggar to himself. Abandoned, sad, and thwarted, he befriends my devotees and quickly gains my mercy in exceptional degrees. Although I give enlightenment and freedom from distress, conditioned souls in general want to keep what they possess. So they appeal to gods who are much easier to please, though when they thrive, they sometimes try to kill their deities. Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and the Supreme Lord Vishnu all can elevate a person or create a person's fall. Unlike Lord Vishnu, Shiva and Brahma are quickly pleased, as wicked Vark once confirmed by his activities. So this is the story of Vrka. The demon Vrka met the saintly Narada one day and asked which god would fill his wish the most effective way. Said Narada, if you ask nicely, Shiva won't take long, but he gets angry instantly if you do something wrong. So Varka worshipped Shiva with a sick, bizarre device. He cut his flesh and burned it in the fire of sacrifice. A week went by. Impatient, Vark dropped that plan. Instead, he washed his hair and bared his axe, prepared to cut his head. There you go. You wanted fingers to be cut off in this lecture? There you go. Heads will roll. So he's getting ready to sacrifice his head in the fire to Shiva. As Varka posed to lop his head directly in the fire, Lord Shiva swiftly grabbed his arm and mercifully inquired, what is it that you want, my friend? Here, let me mend your wounds. Why give your head? A cup of water is fine. I'll grant your boon. The crooked Varka crackled as he gave this sick reply. When I touch someone's head, I wish that he would at once die. Lord Shiva showed consent and gave his head a little shake, although he feared that he was giving nectar to a snake. To test the Lord Shiva's blessing, Varka raised his hand and said, I'd like, my Lord, to see if this will work upon your head. Lord Shiva turned, terrified, fled swiftly into space. The mystic Varka ran behind and managed to keep pace. Since no one counteracts the boon that Shiva has bestowed, the god could only stare as Shiva ran through their abode. At last he reached the Sea of Milk, the luminous domain, inhabited by Vishnu, that the greatest souls attain. So they ran all the way to Goloka, is that right? Lord Vishnu knew that Shiva had been threatened with demise and stepped in to protect him by assuming a disguise. Appearing 5 or 6 years old with beads and deerskin dress, Lord Vishnu summoned Varka, smiled, and pleasantly expressed, my dear respected sir, you've come so far. You must be tired. Please stop and rest your body, for your body is required. For any great pursuit that's good, relax. Now I'm fit. Please tell me of your mission. I would love to hear of it. Lord Vishnu's words pleased Varka, and the demon gladly stayed, explaining in complete detail his clever escapade. The youthful student listened well, then shook his head in doubt. In this case, said the student, we have something to find out. This Shiva cursed by Dakshas gobbles flesh and ghostly hunts. He gives his fellows ghosts and goblins anything they want. His blessing must be useless. Quickly touch your head and see. If he lied, you must reply and end his treachery. Enchanted and bewildered by the student's artful words, the foolish Varka touched his head. A piercing blast was heard, and Varka's head exploded. Then their voices joined as one. The gods cried out in admiration, "Victory! Well done!" As denizens of heavens showered flowers on the scene, Lord Vishnu said, "Lord Shiva, Vark's deeds were so obscene. He met a violent destiny. What else could he expect? Offending you, a kindly guru, wise in all respects. Lord Krishna, Vishnu's origin directly manifests. The energies of matter, spirit, truth are all the rest. A soul who hears or tells how Shiva's problem was dispelled shall overcome his enemies and birth and death as well." All right. Hari Bol, Kalakanta Das, very talented writer. Get this right here. God Who Dances. You can come get it at Krishna House, probably available on Amazon. It's one of my favorite all-time books. I have a signed copy. Best. He signed a copy for my mom too. Shout out to my mom. Okay, so yeah, there again, that's just okay. An example of these selfish rascals wanting to become empowered to boost their own ego, to just feel like that they can dominate and control, and ultimately they see that they're never going to be able to be as powerful as God. So here's a good question to pose. Why, even if a demon is mystically gifted and empowered, why can't he be as powerful as God?
Because Krishna is the source of everything.
Krishna is the source of everything. We're just drops of water in the ocean, man. You know, it's there. You can't be stronger than your maker and come from him. Just like this pastime that we're reading about Hiran Raksha, it's all arranged just for Vishnu anyway. He's always has the upper hand. He's always going to be able uh, to arrange things for his pleasures and his desires. No matter how much somebody wants to try to arrange life to suit themselves and their own needs. Ultimately, the Lord's inside of all of our hearts. He's right there with us, and so yeah, not gonna be able to take down God, man. As much as some people may have poor feelings towards him, Hiranyakashipu won't be able to ever overthrow the Lord. So I wanted to get a little bit into Hiranyakashipu and his similar situation, because he actually became even more greatly empowered than Hiran Raksha, in the same way that Varka kind of did. He was a worshiper of Lord Brahma, and the reason that he wanted to be empowered was, I hate to like spoil any of the story, but Hiran Raksha does not win against Varaha. He loses. Yeah, spoiler alert. Hiran Raksha does not beat the Lord. So Hiranyakashipu, because him and Hiran Raksha, they were best friends and associates and brothers. They were basically twins, and in cahoots. That he was enraged. He was so angry that the Lord Vishnu had killed his brother, that he swore that he would kill Vishnu. And he actually swore that he would drink the blood of Vishnu. It's very demonic, very scary guy. So Hiranyakashipu, can you pull that picture up of him? So after this battle's going to happen, I'm kind of going to go ahead and preface this too, because it's going to take a while as far as the chronological order of the book to get to it. But Hiranyakashipu, he was like a mystic yogi too, and so he did this. Let's hear. Okay, but first, here, check this out. Here's Hiranyaksha, and this is the battle that we're in right now. This picture is actually in the book. So him and Vraha, they're going at it, hitting each other with these transcendental clubs and fighting on the celestial ocean. Look at all those airplanes in the back too, man. Wow, epic. Okay, but he's gonna lose, and then Hiranyakashipu is gonna get very upset, and he's going to pray to Lord Brahma in the same way that Varka here prayed to Lord Shiva to be able to have the mystic ability to blow people's heads off. Go to the Hiranyakashipu one. I think it's backwards. No, that's nope. There, right there. Go back. Okay, so here is Hiranyaksha's brother afterwards, after this. And he stands on his tippy toes with his arms in the air for like 1,000 years. Okay. Can you do yoga, right, Brandon? Can you imagine that yoga posture right there? That asana for the day, tippy toes and hands in the air for 1,000 years? Okay. Well, when Hiranyakashipu did it, he, in the age of Satya Yuga, you're able to kind of channel all the mystic powers of the universe into yourself, like kind of like how a magnifying glass, if the sun is going through a magnifying glass and then there's like a small little, ray from it, and it can catch fire onto something. So he was just kind of soaking up and absorbing all of this energy in the universe from doing this tapasya, right? For doing this austerity. And then his head caught on fire. This is how powerful he got. And it got so hot, and tapasya, it's like tapa, it's like hot. It got so hot that it like caused the entire earth to get overly warm. So it's kind of like the first global warming too. And then he was there for so long that these ants crawled up, and they built a big ant hill around him, and they ate up all his flesh, and they drank up all his blood. So he's just bones. He's like a bony volcano ant pile. Okay. And what happened is, these demigods, man, they're just like the biggest drama in all these roles. They're like, oh man, it's getting real hot on Earth, and we feel something, man, in the force. Like, Indra, can you go tell Lord Brahma to like go figure out what's going on? So Lord Brahma, he takes his celestial swan and he rides around, and he sees this big ant hill with fire coming out of it. And he's like, oh boy, this is it, And so what he did is he sprinkled a little holy water on top of it. And then Hiranyakashipu, he came back to life, except he was bigger and stronger and more full of Shakti and more muscular and more scarier and even more angry. Because if you can imagine, waking up after 1,000 years of being bones. So what's really important is he was a worshiper of Lord Brahma. When he came back to life, when he was reanimated, he fell on his face in obeisances and in ecstasy and was like, Lord Brahma, thank you. I am so happy to see you. He was in complete ecstasy just from seeing Lord Brahma. And but you know, there may have been an underlining pride to it. Like, hey, I was able to sustain this austerity for so long that it attracted the attention, you know, of the creator of the universe himself, Lord Brahma. He's the creator of the universe. So he basically asked them, okay, you know, you've done this austerity. What would you like? How do we reconcile this? How do we sort this out? Because everybody back at the house, they're scared of you. Okay. So what do we got to do to make this right? I want eternal life. I want to never be able to be killed, because his motive was he was just like here on Raksha, he was looking to fight Vishnu. But directly, he already knew. He didn't have to be told, hey, the best fight's Vishnu. He knew who it was. So he said, I want to be immortal. And he said, I can't grant you that, because even myself, I'm not mortal. I have to die at some time. Creator of the universe has to die at some time. And he said, okay, well, you know, Hiranyakashipu, he's really smart. He's very intelligent. And he just kind of came up with this insurance policy, these loophole insurance policies, and was like, okay, I want to be killed neither a day nor night, nor by any weapon, nor by a man, nor by a beast, nor by anything that's created. I don't want to be able to be killed in the sky or in the water, inside of a house or outside of a house, you know, on top of a car or inside of a car, or whatever. You know, he came up with all of it. He covered all his tracks. And yeah, Lord Brahma, okay, let it be so. It is so. It is so. And on top of that, it's very important, he also granted him all the mystic cities. So you have a brand new Hiranyakashipu, stronger than ever, kind of eternal, and full of all the mystic abilities and powers you can possibly have to Lord Brahma's capacity. He gave him everything that was possible to grant to his capacity, to this very mad, very scary, very strong, very vengeful demon. So I won't tell you what happens after that, but the Lord has to come and he has to straighten it back out again, just like he did. Okay, so are there any questions on that? Let me see what else I want to get to. So those are the asuras. Just kind of covering, that's what I wanted to cover, is a few examples of asuras that worship, get granted, then they turn around and they use their powers against everybody. Okay. So then in contrast, also, how much time do we have? Really? Oh, okay. I see. Well, the contrast is at the end of the purport that it says devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not, however, ask any favors for sense gratification. Even if they are offered liberation, they refuse it. They are happy simply engaging in the transcendental service of the Lord. So to wrap it up, and kind of where I was gonna go with this is that Prahlad Maharaj is his son, Hiranyakashipu. He has 4 children, and Prahlad Maharaj, he comes out to be a pure devotee, a Mahabhagavat of the highest consciousness. That's him portrayed here in this picture with the Srimadev when Lord Vishnu comes in the form of half man, half lion. And we'll hear about that more at May 22nd. The Srimadev Bhagavan Ki. So Prahlad Maharaj, he ends up becoming just as empowered as Hiranyakashipu, and as a matter of fact, taking on that throne that you see in that picture that Hiranyakashipu once reigned. And he becomes fully mystically empowered. He is granted all of the boons, even though when Lord and Stream Daves offers them to him, he declines them. He says, that would be transactional. We'd be doing business, and that's not what our relationship is. My relationship with you is that I'm your servitor. So, you have world that's at peace when Prahlad Maharaj is a devotee and he's empowered. And when Hirani Kashipu and Hiran Raksha are running amok, you have disarray and disorder and just very nasty things. So I'll leave the question, which I kind of wanted to discuss, but I'll leave it since we're out of time, is which gifts and resources do you have that you can use in the Lord's service? What has the Lord empowered you with, maybe even since birth? Maybe there's some things that you are ordained and gifted to do since you were a little kid that that you're the best at. Out of all the kids you grew up with, you're the best at school. What is that thing that you have that you can use to in the Lord's service, but also just to offer him? And yeah, just send you guys away with that thought. We don't have time to go over and have some people answer that, right? We're done. Okay. Time to eat. Okay.